Hey, George, good to be with you.
Have you reached a decision?
Yes, and it's great to be with you. I'm going to run for president, and I'm happy to be on your show announcing my candidacy. George, no surprise, we've got a guy in the White House who's unfit, completely unfit, to be president. And it stuns me that nobody stepped up. Nobody in the Republican Party stepped up, because I'll tell you what, George, everybody believes in the Republican Party, everybody believes that he's unfit. He lies every time he opens his mouth.
You say that. You say everybody believes he's unfit, but one of the things the White House points to, and the president points to often, is just about every poll shows more than 80% support for the president among Republicans.
They don't have an alternative. I'll tell you what, George, and look, I'm running because he's unfit. Somebody needs to step up, and there needs to be an alternative. The country is sick of this guy's tantrum. He's a child. Again, the litany. He lies every time he opens his mouth. Look at what's happened this week. The president of the United States is tweeting us into a recession. I can tell you, George, that most of my former colleagues up on the Hill, they agree privately with everything I'm saying.
But then
publicly.
How do you explain why they stand behind him so strong?
Because they're scared to death. Look, George, this isn't easy to do. I just sat down with you and said, I'm going to run for president. I'm going to challenge this guy. I'm opening up my life to tweets and attacks. Everything I've said and tweeted now, Trump's going to go after, and his bullies are going to go after.
You ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready for it. Republicans are scared to death of that. Here's what I think most of my former colleagues believe. They think Trump's going to lose in November, and they want him to lose in November. And then they think they're done with him and everything can go back to normal.
Then they lose the courts, they lose the Supreme Court, they lose the next vacancy, they lose taxes. That's the argument the president has been making.
They want Trump gone. They're just afraid to say that he's unfit. Look at this week. If you privately polled every Republican member of Congress, the president of the United States ordered private companies to not do business with China. The president of the United States said our Fed chair is as big of an enemy as China. Most Republican voters are tired of the drama. They're tired of his BS. George, I believe this. Look,
you're on talk radio every day. You're on in the afternoon in Chicago. When you speak like this, what do you hear from your listeners? Support, correct?
I hear support for the president. It's difficult to be a critic of the president's in conservative talk radio, but I hear real ambivalence as well. And I hear often, George, what you just said at the beginning. I don't like him, and I wish he wouldn't tweet, and I wish he would keep his mouth quiet, but we're getting some good things done. But really, what are we getting done? And when I point out to those people who listen to me on conservative talk radio that we haven't built 1 foot of a wall, that this president who said, I'm going to eliminate the debt in 8 years, has increased the debt at a faster clip than Obama. But, George, this is not about issues. I would not be even thinking about primarying this president if I was upset with his position on the debt or the deficit.
There actually is another challenger to President Trump, as you know, from inside the party, William Weld. And he had a tweet this week where he said this. He said, Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to our country, to the globe, and to himself. And this is what got everybody's attention. Hashtag America deserves better. Hashtag 25th Amendment. You talk about the president being unfit. Should the 25th Amendment be invoked?
It should be looked at. George, we've never had a situation like this. You can't believe a word he says. And again, I don't care your politics, that should concern you. He's nuts. He's erratic. He's cruel. He stokes bigotry. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. George, he's a narcissist. Everything he cares about, the only thing he cares about is Trump. He doesn't give a damn about America. He doesn't care about the border. You and I talked before I came on air. He lost me for certain at Helsinki. When the president,
conference with Putin.
Yeah, when the president of the United States stood in front of the world and said, I stand with that guy and not my own people, that's disloyal. That's un-American. His supporters, I think, are tired of this. Our campaign slogan, George, is be brave. Be brave. This is not a difficult thing for me to do. I'm opening up my life. But the bet that my campaign is making, and I'm going to pound Trump every single day, he's a bully and he's a coward, and somebody has to call him out. And I cannot believe nobody in our party's calling him out. But the bet, George, of my campaign is that there are a lot of Republicans who feel like I do. They're afraid to come forward.